What is up? My name is Lee, and welcome to Rethinking My Entire Life at 22. Okay, I think I'm getting a migraine. Let me take some Advil before I start yapping. My vision is weird right now. I'm sorry if the pills are loud. You know when you have a migraine and you also have POTS, so then when you have a migraine and you stand up, it makes it 10 times worse? That's what just happened to me. Okay. Advil. Let me just take that. Okay, down the hatch. I spilled water down my leg. Okay. Actually, I'm burning alive. Now I'm gonna turn the fan on. And I should probably let the Advil kick in, but I'm not gonna. Fun fact, two Advil duels last me 4 hours tops, and it's supposed to last you 6 to 8, I think. I can't fucking breathe. I also do a monthly shot called Emgality for my migraines, but I don't think it's doing shit. It honestly might be making it worse, I can't tell. Also, I'm realizing that leaning forward like this, although it looks the best framing-wise, is not going to be sustainable for me because my back already hurts. I'm having a lot of issues breathing, so I'm gonna lean back. I hope you don't mind. I know I just turned the fan on because I was burning alive, but I might as well get comfy. Lord knows I'll be cold in 10 minutes. This is a bit of an introspective video. If you see me looking over here, this is my laptop and it has my notes just so I make sure I say everything. I am having trouble reading it because of the migraine, but hopefully the meds kick in and I can see properly again in 15 minutes. So, I mean, I can see it, it's just kind of blurry and fucked up. If you have a migraine, you get it. I can read it, it's just hard. But anyway, the title of the video is what you can expect from the topic of conversation today. So I recently turned 22, as you can see 2 videos ago, or the video before the last one, I turned 22. And I got this piercing, and I got this haircut. Go watch it if you want, I guess. But anyway, that's not the point. With birthdays often comes a lot of introspection and self-reflection and just kind of existential crises, especially in your 20s. Actually, especially in your whole adolescence leading up to your 20s and your 20s. Because the minute you have a brain to think about, the passage of time and, become self-aware, which for me was, 12 or 13 starting, you start to think really hard about aging. Not only because of society, but just because of the nature of aging itself. It's very existential because you don't know how many years you have left. Nobody does. You could die tomorrow. And even if you live a full, long life, there is still a finite cutoff to that. So no matter what, it always feels like you're running out of time because you don't know how much time you have, but you know you're running out of it. And society and social media really accentuate that fear and that existentialism. Well, they take that existentialism, that introspection, and they turn it into fear. They turn it into, you need to hurry up, you need to have a career, you need to be doing what you love already, you need to do what you love but make money, and I have a lot of issues with the way the world works, but that's not what this video is about necessarily. Basically, I've been having an existential crisis since my 22nd birthday, and I was having one before that, but it was simmer down, chill, it's not that big a deal. And the other thing that adds to this is that not only did I turn 22 on July 8th, but I'm getting closer and closer to graduating. Now, I know I posted a video. I'm just promoting all my videos in here, aren't I? I know I posted a video called a vlog where I graduate, but not really. The part at the end, but not really, is because I still had summer classes to do. My summer classes end August 20th. That's coming up pretty close. And once you graduate, what does everyone expect you to do? Get a job. Immediately. Fucking immediately. And what does everyone expect you to work towards? A career that involves your degree, right? So for me, not only did I just turn 22 and I'm oh my god, who am I? I also am graduating soon and I'm oh my god, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? How am I going to sustain myself? Yada yada. But what's important for me to get across is I need to give you some context to my life because I need you to know why I am where I am in the thought process of everything. Guys, if you see me leaning forward, yell at me. Comment below, stop leaning forward, and a timestamp. I'm kidding. Kidding, please don't do that. So how did I get to where I am, basically? So when I was in middle school, high school, I wanted to die. So let's get that out of the way really quick. I'm autistic and bipolar type 2, which some people find a hard time believing that's possible, but here I am. But anyway, when I was in high school, wanting to not be alive, I took a TV production class on a whim, randomly, and then there was some sort of open-ended project where I ended up making a really cheesy high school short film. It was just random clips with a voiceover, and then I edited it together to make sense. And the quality was terrible because I filmed it on a 2000s camcorder. Rest in peace. I wish the battery didn't fall apart. But for some reason, I'll link the film somewhere on the screen or whatever the fuck. But if you go in the description, you can find my film YouTube link and go there and find it. It's called, what's it called? I think it's called Subjective. Yeah, all lowercase Subjective. But for some reason, everyone saw this film that I made for a random fucking assignment, and they were like,
"Oh my god, you have so much talent. This is the best thing I've ever seen."
This is probably because I grew up in a fuck-ass state in the South, so people weren't really doing that where I was from. People weren't really, making short films. So I guess it was, a novelty of some kind, but I don't think it was that good. It was, YouTube short film. It was not, actual short film quality. But anyway, I got, heavily praised for it by, all the adults, all the other kids. Everyone was like, wow, that's so cool. Specifically, the adults loved it. My parents loved it. My dad was, totally against me doing anything artistic for my college degree, and he was like, maybe you'd actually be good at this. So for whatever reason, I still don't understand why that happened, but my teacher ended up making a film department in the TV production thing. He made a film department and then put me in charge of it with another dude. I did end up having to pull out of that later in the year. It was my senior year. Or wait, I think I made the short film in my junior year, and then he implemented the film department for my senior year and put me in charge of it. But then halfway through my senior year, I had to pull out of school because I was not okay. And I did homebound school until the last 2 months of school or something. I think I might have only gone to the last month in person. But I literally was this close to going to a loony bin, but I didn't, so that's okay, I guess. That's besides the point. I'm getting off track. After that, I applied to my film school and I got in, and I fought with my parents because my dad was still he was like, I'm not paying for you to go to school for something you don't have to get a degree in to be successful in. And then I was like, okay, then I won't go to college. So I started planning my life, and I was like, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna save up, I'm gonna do this. My thing at the time was I'm gonna buy a van and I'm gonna build it out and I'm gonna be a van lifer and all this shit, and I'm gonna be able to travel for all my film jobs because I'm gonna have a house on wheels. And I was really excited about it. And then my dad was like, what do you mean you're not going to college? You can't just not go to college. Actually, if you don't go to college, I'm gonna kick you out and you're gonna have to find your own apartment immediately. And I was like, huh? Well, I guess I'm going to film school then. And I ended up going, and I hated it for the first 2 years because it was a bunch of gen ed stuff. I had to draw and paint, which are not my strong suits. Painting is more fun than drawing, but they wanted me to draw realistically. I was like, no, I can do abstract. I can't draw the fucking apple on the table, okay? I'm sorry, I'm so shit. And I literally failed my drawing 101 class because I was so mentally unwell that my parents had to fight with me to get me to go at all. So they were like, well, what if you just do online, for the first, semester or whatever, and then you slowly go in person? And I was like, you know what? Fine, whatever. So I did. I was fully online, and don't take a drawing class online. Don't take a drawing 101 class online because I failed it. And then there was another class I failed. I think it was some English class. I don't even know. It's because the attendance was weird with online classes and I didn't understand it at first. But I was really not doing well and I really didn't like it. And I was like, what am I doing here? I didn't even want to be here. I had this whole plan and it got thrown out. But then I got to start taking actual film related classes, and I started to be like, oh, like I kind of like this is kind of fun. And it was fun, and I did like it. I would still probably find it fun now. I really liked like learning to screenwrite and writing scripts because I love writing. Writing is like always at the core of everything I do. But I started to get kind of sick and tired of like doing the same shit. But it was like on the DL, like down low. I just low key, I was kind of sick of it. I was still having fun for the most part, but I'm autistic. I was having a lot of trouble making connections and meeting people and keeping friends and all that stuff. I still, to this day, I have like maybe one friend that I met last year and only started like getting close with because they are helping me on my thesis. That's it. And one of the main caveats to film school is you don't have to get a film degree to be good in film. You can self-teach like everything that you learn, essentially. You just get to put your hands on more equipment, and you're supposed to be networking like the whole time. And I just never was good at that. I can't network with my peers. My peers do not find me appealing for some reason. And I have a hard time finding peers that I really connect with. And when I do find a peer that I connect with, I don't know how to level up the friendship from classmate to friendship. I don't know how to do that. And college is too fast paced. You lose people quickly. Also, I will say I said I hated like the first 2 years of school. I was also really mentally unwell and I didn't want to be there and I was upset. And then I also 2 years in like got put on my first mood stabilizer, and so for the past 2 years I've actually been able to enjoy things because I've been stable. So that probably played into it a lot because the last 2 years of my life probably seemed a lot happier because I was medicated and I felt normal for once. I'm going on a lot of tangents here. I'm probably going to cut this down a lot. I've been talking for 23 minutes. Holy shit. Now, one of the things about film school, at least my film school, is they really push you towards narrative films, which a narrative film is like a fictional film. Like it's fake, it's not a real story. It can be based on a true story, but it's a fictional story, right? Even before film school and all this shit, I was so interested in documentary film work, specifically nature documentaries, because I have an affinity and a love for invertebrates and reptiles. Specifically, spiders are one of my faves. I love Komodo dragons. I love jumping spiders. I had a pet jumping spider named Mr. Jitters, if you didn't know. Rest in peace. I love those kind of animals. Low-key, like when I was like young and I used to actually read, I never was really interested in like fantasy stories. I would read some like every now and then, but my real bread and butter, I love to read nonfiction books. And I know that's so autistic of me, that's so classic, but I would love to just sit in the library and read a book about spiders. I always hated when the teacher was like, you have to like get a narrative book, like a fictional book to read that's like thicker, you know, because nonfiction books aren't usually thick enough to like meet the quota or whatever. So I was like, why? Like, I want to look at pictures of spiders and like learn which one's which. And I want to learn what the most venomous snake is. And I want to do this and this and this. And eventually, I just kind of started doing what the teacher told me because I didn't want to fail or be difficult or whatever. But back to what I was saying. In film school, they kind of do the same thing. They push you towards narrative film. They push you towards fictional stories. And that's fine and dandy. Like, I didn't hate it. Like, it was fun. I liked it. But I quickly realized I don't think this is for me. And I took these 2 classes that were documentary focused. They were electives, by the way. I took 2 documentary electives, directing the documentary and environmental filmmaking. These 2 classes, especially environmental filmmaking, completely changed my outlook on film. I was like, wow, this is actually like aligned with my personality and what I like to do. I literally made a short documentary about jumping spiders for my environmental filmmaking final, which is also up on my film YouTube. I'll put it somewhere. And that was like the best thing ever. I loved that. And I found that nonfiction stories are really where my heart is at, I think, at least when it comes to filmmaking. But something I've been really thinking long and hard about the past month or so is I feel like I just keep doing what everyone else wants me to do, what everyone else tells me I'm good at, what everyone else wants for me. And I low-key forget what the fuck I want. I don't even know what I want because I just internalize everything. I soak up everything that is thrown at me. And they're nice things. They're like, you're good at filmmaking, so you should do filmmaking. And it's like a nice thing to say. Like, they're saying I'm good, I'm skilled. But Am I just doing this because it's what I'm good at in everyone else's eyes? Like, is this just what happened because I got swept up in the moment of everyone praising that stupid little YouTube short film that I made in high school? Because I've noticed, like, looking at people around me, like, looking at my peers in film school, they're so passionate about this. And I just don't know if I feel that way anymore. I definitely felt like passionate about making films at some point, but I don't know if it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. I can't tell. Like, and even if I did do it for the rest of my life, I would want to do documentary work, which is a whole different thing, and I barely learned anything about that shit in my film school experience. All I learned about documentary filmmaking and nonfiction stories was from my electives that I took. None of it came from my actual curriculum. They had a screenwriting class. They didn't have a transcript class. You know, like, it's entirely different. And I feel wildly underprepared for what I would like to do. But I'm also not sure what it is that I want to do anymore. It often feels like I want what everyone else wants in the moment, but I really just get swept up in everyone's expectations and I forget what's actually important, which is what I want to do. I'm the one that has to do it. Why am I just doing what everyone tells me to do? And I've talked about this with my therapist. I feel like I haven't really been given the option or the space to make my own decisions, to make my own choices, to really sit and think. What do I want? Who am I? What would make me happy? What would keep me sustained? And often what I find myself thinking is either how can I survive or how can I keep everyone around me off my back? How can I impress everyone else? Sorry for the shaky voice and teary eyes, it just happens sometimes. Deep down, I've always abstractly known what I wanted, but I didn't know how to translate it into an actual sustainable career. And I'm scared. Because I feel like I got the wrong degree. And what I wrote here was, while I do love filmmaking, I don't think it's a sustainable career for me. Or I'm not sure if it's what I truly love. Because what I truly love, I said it before, is invertebrates and reptiles. And what would actually sustain me is getting to work with them forever. Or at least be near them, you know? And I know that if I could find a career working with those types of animals, like, I would just be so happy for the rest of my life, bro. But I just got a degree in film. I didn't go get a degree in biology or entomology or invertebrates or anything even close to what I was actually genuinely in love with and interested in. And I think the reason that happened is because I was in a vulnerable state when I graduated high school. Like I said, this close to the loony bin. I knew that I was in no mental state to go take actually, like, hard, difficult academic classes. That's not to say that art school does not have its challenges. I did fail 2 classes and have to retake them. But I needed something that I didn't have to strain myself for. I was one of the victims of gifted kid burnout, as most autistics are. And so I actually was really smart. I still am really smart, but I just don't have the capacity to put myself in another academic environment. Like, I can't put myself through that strain again. Maybe I could now that I'm medicated, but I don't know where I would go. I don't know what I would do. I'm just feeling so unsure. And I feel like I just wasted 4 years in film school, if I'm honest. But while I am scared that I got the wrong degree, I do still see potential use in my knowledge, and cameras and photography, filmmaking, videography is still something I'm very interested in, I'm very passionate about, and I don't think my knowledge is wasted. So, I've been trying to brainstorm and think about how I could combine the 2 things I like. What I would really love to do is be a research photographer, and they just send me out into the swamp and I just take pictures of random fucking things that they need. And I think I need a biology degree for that, or an entomology degree, or something. Or some sort of proof that I can identify species. So either way, I think I gotta get studying for that one. Because I don't think they'll just take a random film student that doesn't know their bugs. I would also love if I could do wildlife photography, specifically with a focus on invertebrates and reptiles, just focusing on the things that I love. But I need specific equipment for that. And I have to build up a repertoire, build up a portfolio, get all the things going before I can even think about getting paid for that. So I find myself sitting here thinking, what the fuck do I want to do? What am I gonna do? And if I figure out what exactly I want to do, how am I going to get that? I've already been brainstorming the wildlife photography one, which that's a hard one because a lot of people want to do that. I've been thinking of taking like one-off online courses on invertebrates, on species identification, just random shit, so I can just pay one time and get a certification in something. And of course, I have sat down and I have thought about what I'm doing right here, right now. Content creation. I've loved content creation since I was 11, since I was 12, since I was a kid, since I was watching YouTubers. I love YouTube, I love streaming on Twitch. Recently I've been more into the YouTube side of things, but I do still love streaming occasionally. I love the idea of having an outlet for myself that creates a safe space and a community. That would be awesome. But that's not something everyone can bank on. I don't really have the luxury of sitting around and waiting to blow up, so I think the only option for me really is to steadily grow my community, steadily grow my followers, my subscribers, whatever. And if that's the case, I gotta do something else. I gotta make money some other way. And also, I don't really like making content about my life if my life is boring. Like, if I have nothing going on, if I have no goals or aspirations other than content creation, I can't make content about making content. Like, that's too much for me. I don't want to do that. So I think pursuing the wildlife photography or something with invertebrates and reptiles, I think that's the way to go. I just don't know what that looks like yet. I just don't know. And that's what scares me. That's what freaks me the fuck out, because I thought I knew. I thought I had this idea in my head that was planted by other people about what I was gonna be, what I was gonna do, how everything was gonna turn out. And I just don't think I've been paying attention to myself. I've been searching inward enough for who I am, for what I want to do. Everyone just told me, oh, when you grow up, you're gonna be a famous film director, you're gonna be so amazing, and you have so much potential, and you're gonna do all these great things. And instead of, making sure I really wanted that, I just kind of went, yeah, because that's what everyone said. Every adult in my life convinced me I was going to be some prodigy, because I showed signs that I could be a prodigy, but that doesn't mean that's what I want. Do I want to be a prodigy? Not necessarily. Not in the things that they want me to be a prodigy in. One of the reasons I worry about going into the filmmaking industry, for me specifically, it's because of the way Hollywood works. It's because of the way the industry works. You have like two avenues. You make your own film with your own money and your own blood, sweat, and tears, and you blow up. You get lucky. Or you do it the hard way. You find an avenue that you can work your way up the ladder in and eventually become a director or whatever job it is that you actually wanted. I just don't have the bandwidth for that. And that's why I never wanted to do corporate shit, because I don't want to climb any ladders. I just want to get a job that I can progress in that will sustain me, not just financially, but also sustain my soul, my inner being, that will keep me fulfilled and not make me fucking miserable. Because frankly, I spent all of my life fucking miserable. I don't have the patience for that anymore. And if I'm gonna go be a PA, work my way up to I don't even fucking know. That's the other problem I had, is I was like, I would rather either be a PA and have no control over the outcome of the script or whatever, or I would rather be in full control. There is no in between for me. I don't want to be halfway involved. I either want to be barely involved or completely and totally involved. And I know I can already hear people being like, well, you just need to put up with it, you need to suck it up to get where you want to go, and blah 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 blah. But that's the thing, is where do I want to go? Can't I figure that out before I start doing that to myself? Can I make sure I know where I want to go before I put all my eggs in that basket. Because, and this may be a hot take, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you have to do it for the rest of your life. You don't have to like what you're good at. You can hone your skills in what you actually love. You know, because passion is what's going to take you far, not skill. And maybe that's a hot take. Honestly, I have the bandwidth to have been a doctor, a specialist, or something cool like that. Probably not a surgeon, because I'm not good with my hands, but I could be a really good doctor, probably. Really good lab researcher. Really good fucking STEM person. But I don't have the passion for it. I don't have the passion for it. And I don't have the care. I know that I have the smarts, but I also have my limits. Mentally, emotionally, physically. And going to med school, everyone talks about how hard that shit is. They talk about, like, people dropping off like flies, like... You think I was gonna survive that? Maybe if I had the passion for that job, then yes, I probably could. But just because I have the skill doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. And something intrinsically intertwined with my soul, as at least for me as an autistic person, is that if I don't like something, I can't make myself do it. Not for very long. That's why I have such a hard time finding even like part-time jobs and stuff, because I have to make sure the environment is something that I can tolerate. I have to make sure there is something enjoyable about the job. Because otherwise, I will not last a week. I will not last 2 days at that job. And maybe that's a flaw of mine in your eyes, in capitalism's eyes, because I can't just grit my teeth and put up with shit. I mean, I can when I need to, when I have to. But if I know that I don't have to be somewhere, like I don't have to subject myself to this, and I don't have the passion or the care to be there, bitch, I'm gone. I'm long gone from there. I never even set foot in there because I know that it's not the environment for me. I'm only talking about this because I am currently looking for part-time jobs in the area that I'm about to move to, because I am having financial conversations that are feeling slightly similar to when I graduated high school and ended up at college. So I have decided that while I do have a goal to find myself and figure out what it is that I want and what I love, I also have made it a goal to become financially independent. Why did my ears start ringing and now I can't hear out of it very well? But the thing is, I'm trying to remind myself that I've already started. I've already started accepting myself and digging deep to figure these things out. But the problem is that I feel like I have a time limit. You know, it kind of goes back to the beginning of the video. And I am a spiritual person, and I do feel that I can trust, and I need to trust in the universe and how things are meant to work out. But I'm having a hard time because I'm getting nervous. The closer I get to graduating, the closer I get to moving, I'm getting nervous. Okay? Because I've really got to figure out how my life is going to work after I move. Once I've graduated and after I move, what's the game plan? What am I going to do? Where am I going to work to get money while I do my other shit? And I can tell I'm gonna be busy because I have a lot of shit I want to do. I've got to get a new lens for my camera because I don't have a good lens for taking pictures of wildlife. And even after I get my starter lens, I'm probably gonna need a macro lens eventually. But I've just got to practice. I've just got to practice for the time being. And like where I'm moving, it's like more of a city. So I'm like, where am I gonna find the wildlife? Like, I'm gonna have to like drive. I don't know where I'm gonna drive. But yeah, I've just got a lot going on right now. Like I'm currently finishing up my classes. They end August 20th, which means finishing up my thesis, which is my class. Because I'm taking one class and I'm getting an internship credit. So I'm doing an internship with a whole bunch of like editing work, like documentary editing tasks. But I don't really get to like fully edit. I just get to do like the annoying stuff, which is fine because I like the annoying stuff most of the time. Guys, my vision is getting really weird. I'm gonna need to wrap this up. Oh, I'm leaning forward again. What was I even saying? My vision is so whack right now. My head has a pressure. I took Advil. Why are you torturing me? I don't even know what I was talking about. I'm honestly just gonna wrap this up because I feel like I'm gonna die. I feel like I'm gonna fall over and die in a second. But it's okay, guys. That happens to me a lot. How was I even gonna wrap it up? I don't know. I literally feel like I have a fever. Like, I might need to check my temperature, guys. But anyway, I know I just kind of talked about myself the whole video. That's kind of the point of the video, but also I just want you to know that if you see yourself in me or you relate to anything I'm saying, like, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure it out. And if you're interested to see if I do, you can subscribe, I guess, because that's probably what this channel is gonna follow. It's gonna follow whatever the fuck I get up to, whatever the fuck I do with my life. That's where we're gonna go. And I can feel myself fading. I know I had more to say, but I've almost been filming for an entire hour. So I am going to shut the fuck up now. But if you watch this far, thank you so much. I appreciate you to the moon and back. You don't understand. And yeah, I'm gonna do my outro now. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Much love, and I'll catch you next time. Mwah.
I hope you enjoy